Hello, welcome back to another episode of Bastions and Basilisks. My name is Kalvin.
And my name is Shan. How are you?
Yeah, how are you people? Tell us.
I know.
In the comments.
Tell us in the comments how cool you are.
How cool you are. This episode, hopefully it's going to start a new series talking about Pathfinder. Shan here is a freelancer for Paizo. And fucking hooray Union. Fuck yeah. But he is not being paid to be here, unfortunately. Not by Paizo. Maybe someday I'll get to pay you.
Fine. You're fine. I'll talk about this shit all day for free. It's all good. Oh, yeah, we didn't discuss that. Can I swear?
Oh, yeah. No, I swear
all the time. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, no, I don't give a shit. I swear all the time. I get yelled at by my teachers. They're like, you swear? I was like, I know. I swear. It's a thing I do. So instead of saying, like, God damn it, I now say Odin damn it. Because you'd be like, you can't say that. I'd be like, why? Is it damn it that you're upset about? No, it's because you took the Lord's name. I'm like, cool. Odin damn it. They're like, you're just getting around. I'm like, that's my God. You can't get mad at me for taking my own God's name in vain. Fuck you. And then I get yelled at. No. Anyway, see, this is perfect. We've already gotten off on a side tangent. Boom. This is
2 minutes in, baby.
Beautiful relationship already.
I know.
That's so many times. Like, so many of me and Brandon's videos are us getting, like, we probably would be done in, like, 20, 25 minutes, but we just go on side tangents so often. So, this first episode, it's going to be me I should be doing more of the talking because I'm going to be asking more of the questions, but I don't really have a whole lot. So, we're just going to discuss, because Shan here is a way better expert. I'm good at English, that's why I'm going into engineering. Is more knowledgeable, is the subject matter expert about Pathfinder, especially second edition.
Oh yeah, that's my goddamn jam.
I'm pretty knowledgeable.
My jam.
I mean I don't remember as much about first edition, but once again that was D&D 3.75 effectively. Yeah. So I broke the shit out of that version. So we're just going to be talking about how second edition is different from first edition Pathfinder and how it's different from fifth edition D&D, which is the thing that it's most often compared to. So
it is as far as I can tell, it's direct market competitor if such a thing exists. When you're dealing with when you're dealing with a small-ish company with like 100 employees at the max, like. It's actually less than that. I think it's like 50 employees. So you're dealing with a company with 50 employees versus Hasbro.
Yeah.
Like where do you go from there? But yeah, they are what I would consider in the fantasy gaming space. They're like sort of quote unquote closest competitor.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd say, especially because they took the OGL. Open Gaming License for
3.5.
Yeah, for 3.5 and made Pathfinder out of it
and I'm still running with that
and I mean
shit.
and as crap, what is his Graham Panzer.
Oh, Panzer, okay.
As I think his name is actually like Graham or Graham or something like that. But Panzer has brought up that essentially Pathfinder got so big because, and I say this as a person who fucking loves 4th edition, because of the critical failure that 4th edition was comparatively. They were able to take, like, essentially they were able to kind of like hop on the back of 4th edition, be like, hey, you guys want to play something like 3rd edition again? Whee! And like, I mean, not exactly the same, but people were like, I want to play this. Oh, that's new. And kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
That's basically, like, if there is an origin story that we'll ever know for why Pathfinder came to be, that would be it.
Well, wasn't it the writer for Dragon Magazine?
Yes. Some stuff about Paizo that I happen to know because I'm this kind of nerd. Lisa Stevens, who is the CEO of Paizo, did, before they split off and became Paizo, they technically were working with or working for, I don't know the exact specifics, they were doing Dragon Magazine and I think Dungeon Magazine for the super longest time. And then as Hasbro was like, okay, well, we're phasing those out, Lisa and a bunch of other people were like, cool, we're going to go do another thing. And the other thing that they wound up coming out with a bit later was Pathfinder 1. And as Pathfinder sort of grew and grew and grew, and D&D was like, okay, we're sick of having a fucking patch 3.5 in motion. We're going to go to 4. And then, yeah, there was a lot of gamer backlash to 4 that I don't really understand. 4 is a perfect encapsulation of exactly what it is. Like, yeah, it is a good, hey, let's play D&D game, but you had enough. It's a weird intersection of you had enough grognards screaming it down, and you had enough reasonable people who were like, I don't know if this is my cup of tea, that once Pathfinder was sort of announced to being its own thing, people were just like, okay, this is more of what I like.
It's ironic too, because if you think about it, its 4th edition has probably been the most closely similar to chainmail as any of them, really.
Oh god, by far.
So it's funny because it became, I mean, it also had, MMO, inspirations, obviously.
People say that a lot, but like,
I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing.
Well, I just don't get it. Like, I don't see that.
Having played a lot of different MMOs, I can see it. Like, it has, because you have your tank, you have your DPS, you have your hero, like, and you have the roles. Like,
do people not do that? I do. Literally every game I make. Every game. I know, right? But, like, every game I make, I'm like, okay, well, who's playing our tank? Who's playing our healer? I at least get the tank and healer down. And then if people want to play DPS or secondary tanks or whatever, fine. But I want to know who's my tank and who's my healer. The difference is that
they specifically made it into a thing.
Gotcha.
Whereas, okay, so it's kind of like fighters in 3rd edition could be tanks, but they could also just be straight DPS.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, clerics could be healers, could be tanks, could be DP. Like, it's the whereas
I got you.
They kind of put everything into its kind of specific role.
All right, rock on. But to get to the actual game that I'm personally here to talk about today, we're going to talk about ourselves some Pathfinder 2nd edition. Whew. Let me just say, this game is a goddamn blast. Like, I know I wrote for it and all that, but this game is a blast.
Right. Which one did you write for?
I specifically wrote for the second of the of an adventure path, and I wrote in a book called Stories on. Oh my god! Did I just forget the name of the book? Spoken on the Songwind, which is the second adventure path. Which is the second book in the adventure path, Strength of Thousands. Which, to give you a super brief overview of what the adventure path is, you are basically at a school for training magicians or training spellcasters, and so this school has like a long and storied history, and it is located in the Magambia Expanse. Which I'm sorry, the Mwangi Expanse, and the school is called the Magambia. I have a lot of information in my head about this.
You already fucked it up. Subject matter expert over it.
I know, right? Like, I'm real good. I'm also real tired.
No, it's fine. We're gonna see how it's fine. Goes. We will. I didn't know that either of those things. So I will. If you can send me the links to those two things, I can actually put them in the description so people can check them out.
Oh yeah, because
blast.
I know, right? Like,
all I've done is I wrote an article in
Dragon.
No, I'm not.
Even Dinosaurs ago.
Dinosaurs. No,
you wouldn't even be old enough to have written.
That's not.
Dragon.
I legally I could have been because I was playing 4th edition and that came out in 2008, 2009.
I don't even fucking remember.
I turned 18 in 2005, so I would have been. I technically would have been. I know you're old. I would have been that In that, anyway,
no.
for the Greyhawk magazine. I wrote an article for Greyhawk magazine like 2 years ago about our mercenary group that we played in the game.
Oh, that's pretty baller.
Yeah, it was pretty dope. Anyway,
yeah.
I will put that in the descriptions.
Okay, I will send. Yeah, I'll send you the info on that. But what I wanted to do after we talked about it, obviously, I kind of wanted to do more of a general overview of what the hell, like you said, what the hell's the difference? Like, a lot of people are going to be picking up various games, and what's the difference? What stands out? And the first thing that I would think of as a major, like, this stands out is Union. No, I mean, yes, Union, but also the 3-action economy.
Mm-hmm.
The 3-action economy just blows everything else out of the water.
Yeah, that was my friend James pointed that out,
and the thing is that it seems like such a simple thing, right? It's like, okay, well, technically D&D has 3 actions, right? You get your main, your bonus, and your free. I don't remember exactly.
Your move, your standard, and your bonus.
Yeah, and real talk, that is often how things break down in terms of feel, right? Like in terms of, okay, this feels like it's just a standard bonus and a move. But being able to do things like at level 1 attack multiple times, it blew my fucking doors clean off. Because the fact is that, like, let's say I want to, okay, there's a goblin. I run up to the goblin, so that's my first action. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to swing twice.
Right.
At level 1, and I have the rolls.
Yeah, because don't you get a -5 on the second and then a -10 on the third?
Yes, it's a -5 on the second, -10 on the third, unless you have some shenanigans.
Feats, is that...
Oh, no, it's not feats. It's usually like if you're punching, because that counts as a finesse weapon, which means you only have a -8.
And a -3 respectively, or
no. It's a
still -5 then minus.
It'll be like, so I'm gonna break it down as if I was actually doing the fighting. I run up to the goblin and I swing with my sword, right? So that's a normal attack. The next attack after that is at a -4 as my second attack for the round, because I'm punching, which means I'm using a finesse weapon. Okay. Yeah, it makes things a little bit easier. But you're mostly right. Like, yeah, it's a -5 and a -10 for 90% of things, because 90% of people are going to be using weapons. Funny enough, the way that the 3-action economy really just blew my head off was in spell casting. Because let's say I'm a wizard and I don't move at all.
You're a wizard and you don't move at all.
Yep. I cast a 2-action spell. Whatever that spell is. Right. I mean, there's a ton. Mm-hmm. And then I can cast a shield spell, which raises my AC.
So and I haven't shield moved. Is a normal spell, not a reaction spell? It's
a cantrip. Yeah. So just like 5e cantrips, it can be cast as much as you want.
Oh, well, that's different from 5e then, because shield is a normal spell, a level 1 spell. It's not a cantrip spell.
Ooh, I thought it was a cantrip, but yeah, no. In this case, shield is a cantrip. Adds a +1 to your AC. So.
Oh well, okay. Shield in 5th adds a +5, and you're and you're immune to magic missile. So.
I think you're immune to magic missile.
But I mean, a +1. I mean, it's if you're not doing anything else, it doesn't. It's
There is the math on. Another way that I would definitely argue that it stands out, and we'll get back to the 3-action economy, but another way that it stands out is the math is extremely tight. Mm-hmm. Insofar as that +1 bonus, that +2 bonus that you would think, oh, that doesn't mean crap. It can mean everything. Because that one hit that misses...
He's going to miss by 1 point.
Yeah, is gonna miss that at one point. And you're just like,
I've played
yes!
So me and in the D&D game I play on Saturdays now, me and one of my friends Salem, we're playing twins, half elves. He's playing a girl, I'm playing a boy. We have the same armor class, but anytime anything attacks it, well, he's just because he's a rogue, he's just straight dex. Anytime anything swung at him in the last fight, it rolled super low.
Yep.
Like it's rolled like 9s and 11s and 13s and 15s, and it's like, no, that misses. Anytime anything swung at me, it's like, oh, 22, 17, 19, 18, 24. And I'm like, what the fuck? Because I have like armor mat and like a +1 shield. Like I'm like, fucking stop! God damn it!
We're just gonna hit you harder and harder and harder.
This is some bullshit. So
once you start getting into the goofery of the math being so tight, you can, those +1, little +1, +2 bonuses stretch really goddamn far.
Well, I mean, that's always been in like number crunch games. I don't think 5th is as number crunchy, but like definitely 1st edition Pathfinder and 3rd edition D&D,
Yep.
like. I mean, my brother had a rogue in 3rd edition who had like a +70 to his stealth rolls, and like
Jesus Christ,
just because of feats and his dex and magic bone, like because of magic item stacking, and it's just so it's it is all about the numbers, and that's why it's like, oh, why would you boost up your? That's why I'm like always max out. The first thing you should always try to do is max out your primary stat. Like you're a wizard, max out your intelligence. You're a fighter, max out your strength. Like. Because you need though, like, because that's because the same point, like you have an 18, I have a 20, that +1, that's one more damage, but that 1 point is going to be the difference between missing and hitting sometimes, and so it definitely adds up that you want to crunch.
That's actually something else that I wanted to say is a major difference in Pathfinder versus, say, 5e is the way characters are built. You don't... All of the standard systems are available should you wish to pursue them, right? Like, they're all there. You can pick up any one of them and go. But the standard of how you build your character is... You choose an ancestry, which is race, but race is kind of a weird and loaded word. So They took that out and they use ancestry now. So you choose your ancestry. So for the sake of argument, I'm going to go human, which is standard human. Then you choose your class. So when you choose your ancestry, you get a bonus based on your ancestry. And so all your start stat at 10. So let's say that gives me a +2, well, 2 +2s to add anywhere I want. So because I'm going to be a human fighter, because I'm like that, I'm going to go like strength and con. So that's your first thing you choose right out of the gate, is you're choosing where your initial bonuses go.
Okay.
Second, you choose your class. Now your class has a they call it your words are hard right now. Oh my God, my brain is dying. 1 second, I'm gonna look something up. Play Girl from Ipanema, so I have a couple of moments.
I don't know the words to that.
No, dude, all I gotta do is hum it. Like,
in the Garden of Eden.
You know what? That's a better choice. Good choice.
That's the one that has like the 20-minute drum solo, right?
Yeah. All right. So I'm actually popping open my book because why the heck not? All right. So. Okay. So fighters just on their own. Oh, that's another thing. For your ancestry, you do not roll hit dice. In fact, you are not going to roll hit dice at all. I saw that. Yeah, you're not going to roll hit dice, period.
Yeah, I was noticing that, which I love.
Yep.
Because that's a big thing that, like, that's a house rule that I do in my games that, like, my brother started, and I think one of my other friends used too, is, like, always max hit points. Just because it's a...
Most people goddamn cheat anyway. Like, when they're rolling their hit dice...
I play with different people that don't cheat. You need better friends. I'm not saying that I don't play with shitty people.
I'd put money on it.
I don't play with them anymore. You know why? Because I don't play with myself.
That's funny.
I'm the cheater. But I saw that. But yeah, max hit points, because you like.
It makes life so much easier.
It does, because then you don't. That's one less thing everybody has to worry about.
Yep.
And I don't have to worry about, that giant just crit you. Well, because the wizard rolled 4 1s for the past 4 levels, they have 7 hit points. I mean, you don't want a weird wizard getting hit by a giant regardless, but it's just a thing. Like that's one of the things I think once again 4th edition had was I don't think you even rolled hit points. I think you just got them every level. Yeah. And that is so simplistic. That is much more streamlined. Mm-hmm. You don't need to roll hit points. I mean, it's kind of bullshit.
So like as a human, I think you get like, what is it? You get 8 right off the bat. So you get 8 hit points right off the bat as a human. Mm-hmm. As a fighter, you get 10 plus con. That's it. Done. So right now, as a fighter,
18 hit points. That's...
As you start the game, you know exactly what your hit points are. You don't have to roll. You don't have to do anything extra. You just go, I have 18 hit points plus whatever my constitution is. Done. What I was saying about your ability scores is that every class has a key ability, mm-hmm. which is the ability that most funnels through the class. For fighter, because they're like this, you can choose either strength or dexterity. Obviously, if you want to play like bow fighter, somebody who's, firing a bow or something like that, you can go dex and do all sorts of cool dex tricks to become a much better archer. But yeah, strength. So strength is my key ability because that's what I'm choosing for the sake of this thing. And so I add an immediate +2 to my strength.
So then your class adds a +2 to their key ability.
Yep. Okay. Right off the bat. No, nothing to even talk about. And then the actual, you know what? The other thing that's actually really cool in my estimation is backgrounds, because there's a goddamn ton of them, and each background gives you a choice of abilities that you can use in order to like break down, like, say my guy was a squire, or say he was a merchant's son, or they all give different key abilities that also help to boost your background. It gives you a nice, like, okay, my character was a merchant's son. Here's all the cool stuff that came from being the son of a merchant. And then you can just tack your actual backstory right onto that son bitch. And then you're good to go. You have a fully functioning character pretty much right out of the gate. Mm-hmm. The only stuff that starts to get like a little tricky is once you start getting into feats, but for the most part, feats are pretty much told, like, you probably have this feat, you probably have this feat, and you probably have this feat.
Yeah, I do like that was one of the things I was saying. I thought that there were specific subclasses, and there aren't subclasses, right?
Nope.
Okay. Unless you take a specific thing that kind of, because the research field for alchemist, I was like, what is that? Like, it's so that kind of is, and that determines what feats you can take, but it's not specifically.
Well, it determines. Basically, one of the things that I really like about the way Pathfinder 2e is set up is that it tries to guide the player from the moment you open the book to having a level 1 character. That's what it does. Is that the entire process is so guided that you're still making interesting choices, you're still choosing cool things, but it is a very guided experience. You can, as someone totally uninitiated, I think my players were able to come up with level 1 characters, besides names, because names take for fucking ever, in maybe a half an hour. I think our like quote unquote session 0 took a half an hour. Yeah, because we were done. It was like, okay, do this, and do this. Okay, you're good.
I've explained it before that because like a lot, I think probably in the D&D videos, but my issues are not even with the systems. It's essentially the people that I played with when I was learning were kind of grognardy type of people, and so the metagaming, mega gaming, I try not to metagame, but like mega gaming, min maxing kind of mentality is the only way my characters would survive, like because I did that character survived one additional game, type of thing, because one game I did a whole robbery which was beautiful. I rolled a nat 20 on a bluff check, and everything including the dogs rolled a nat 1 on their sense motive checks, or like even the dogs were like, what? and I just fucking hauled ass, and then just an inn is burning down, and I'm just looking at it, and then suddenly out of the darkness somebody comes and fucking slits my throat. No roll, no nothing, just dead. I'm like so that's that whole thing. So that's one of the reasons why I don't like killing people's characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll try to work with it, you become some kind of undead, or try to roll with whatever. If they want to still play the character, we'll figure out a way.
Exactly. And the coolest thing insofar as like the differences are concerned, at least to me, with the sort of, I'm going to call them subclasses because it makes it a little bit easier, but they're really just sort of like, here's some samples you can follow.
Yeah, that's why I thought that they were specific subclasses, because they had the pictures, and I thought, I was like, oh, that's one of the subclasses. But then I read the top where it says sample, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
like you can build this. You don't have to build.
If you want to
this.
build a bomber like this, go in this direction. If you want
to, exactly,
it's a template if you want it, not if you so, which is cool.
Yep. So you can come up with a totally unique character. You don't have to follow the samples at all. But if you're a new player, and again, the goal is to go from I don't know what I'm doing to I have a character in a half an hour, it gives you a nice guidance.
I lost track of what the fuck my point was originally. The point was it got to a point where I could make characters in like 5 minutes.
Oh, well, yeah, because if you're playing in a super deadly game, you have to be able to...
I just like, okay, like I do
if
this,
you want to keep playing.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I'm talking about somebody with... Yeah. Hey, my friend just picked up this game called Pathfinder 2nd Edition. I don't know anything about it, but I want to play. How do I get in and play?
I mean, probably, the longest part of all that would be... picking what race and class you want to be. Well, picking everything. That it's I like in 5th edition that you get to, as the player that I am, and some of them you get to choose. There's choices of things. But the fact that like some of the backgrounds are like, oh no, you get this and this. Acolyte, you gain religion and scribing lore, and you gain a student of the canon skill feat. I'm like, okay, like. It's very... I mean, I like that they explain stuff, but I mean, that's also adding into the whole... Instead of doing it in the backgrounds, where you're like, oh, why do you do what you do? They do it in the class instead. Which, I mean, it's still only really like one page. It's a little weird to me, Yeah. Because like, don't tell me how to play my fucking character.
And that's...
and I know they're not. And I know that's all me. That's all me. But this and I know it's kind of like a... It makes a lot more sense than what 5th edition does with like the boons and the flaws and the like thing. And it's like, because all of those are just too kind of I will never trust a redhead ever again. Like, why?
I don't know why those are hard. Choice? I don't know why those are hard coded.
I don't even use those.
It's so weird.
I think the point is kind of the similar concept of where it gets you started.
Yeah, I see it,
if you're rolling, but like me, I mean that's something that we would have to bring in a newbie to be like, what,
what do you think?
Why? Do you like this better? Maybe we should make a poll about it. Do you like the just being told what your class is like, or would you or do you like having to choose? Be like, oh, this and this, or like, do you like to come up with it on your own, or do you like to kind of just roll on the chart and this is what you take for your background?
Yeah. And like that's actually one of the things that I find personally, I mean, as someone who has a lot of expertise with the system, it to me feels good when I bring in new players. Like my home table, the game I play with my roommates, they were almost all new. I think one of them had a little experience with Pathfinder 1, but that's it. And so when I was bringing these new players in, we were able to get down to business
to defeat the Huns.
Well, kind of. I mean, my game doesn't particularly feature Huns, but it is an undead campaign, and it's been gnarly. Like nobody's died or anything like that, but they're fighting to save the goddamn world. And there are times when I think during the first couple sessions, I think I pulled back a little bit. Like I kind of was like, maybe I shouldn't throw like the full Monty at these. They're very new.
I mean, yeah,
but
exactly.
Now...
There have been times where in games, I'll like, if combat's going poorly, just your enemies miss a couple more times than normal. That's whatever.
No, that's not what I mean. I'm specifically talking about like encounter design.
Oh, okay.
And I actually want to talk about encounter design too, because that's another thing that, fucking chef's kiss. But instead of designing the encounters as moderate encounters, and I'm going to explain encounter design in a minute, but instead of designing them as like moderate encounters, which are pretty hard, which can be pretty tough if you're not a player, I designed them more like trivial encounters, or maybe like trivial encounters with just one more monster. Okay. And they were able to get the hang of the game without feeling like
so it's more like a scalable encounter than a
exactly.
Okay.
Now to discuss encounter building without getting too far into the goddamn weeds, there are 4 types, right? It's like trivia. Hold on. I just want to make sure I'm not talking out my butt.
Subject matter expert.
Listen, any single person. A very important thing that I tell everybody who GMs this game, everybody, do not memorize these goddamn rules. Do not. It is a waste of your goddamn time. Your brain will melt before you get all these rules into your head. Always be willing to look them up. It is just so much easier to just look it up.
I can't help who I am as a person, okay?
No, I know, but you're...
I was like, so if you ever see me running a game where I'm like, you're like, Kalvin did it. He memorized all the rules. Like,
yeah, exactly. Okay. Like, and you're like, you got fucking goo leaking out of your ears. Like, all right, so actually, technically, there's 5. Technically. And I'm saying technically for a reason. Trivial, low, moderate, severe, and extreme. I'm going to say this. If you're using an extreme encounter, be prepared for TBK. If you're using a severe encounter, be prepared for at least one of your party members to go down. Moderate to trivial is the safest possible range. Mm-hmm. Obviously, not counting for dice rolls. Like if your party rolls like shit, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, no, but, I know. That's. I mean, yeah, I try not to like pull punches in fights, but sometimes the party's just rolling so fucking bad. I'm like, this fight is not supposed to be that challenging, and like,
what are y'all doing?
And like, see, that's the thing. Is like, if because it's a collective story. If we're all trying to tell a story, if there's no way I can get them out of it, like if they're fighting a fucking Dracolich or whatever, which that's the type of thing that's gonna just trap them and turn them into slaves. Whereas I'm actually still pissed about my brother because we were fighting giants and we were going through he was using one of the module bits, I think, like from the giants or something, and you go into like the fire giant fortress or whatever.
Yeah.
And essentially, he changed the module in the slightest way by giving one of the giants like gloves of haste. And like,
oh no,
of the things you want, of the things you want to not give an extra attack, fucking fire giants are one of them. Like my barbarian, I mean, had like 130 hit points because I was level 10, but like raging, I'm like, we're able to take 1, sometimes 2 if we get a good round, like a good couple rounds in, and so it has fire giants and drow in this dungeon module thing. If you look up both of those fucking races, both races love strong slaves.
Yep.
So the drow that I fucking wrecked her shit though, to be fair. I got a nat 20 on my death save, stood up, she was there, and I just fucking unleashed on her. And did like 50 fucking points of damage.
Yeah.
She did not like it. Because I think one of them was a crit. The only reason I didn't wreck her is because I ran out of fucking spell slots for my Eldritch Smite.
Yeah.
Anyway. But it's they like slaves. There's no way that while I'm laying there bleeding to death, and we're like on the run, like, that she wouldn't have just been like, let's just capture him. That dude, he's like, she didn't have to just fucking stab, dead. Like, she would have turned me into a slave. Like, that's a thing that I think it's because my brother he wanted to run Descent into Avernus.
Yeah.
And so he just didn't care how it ended.
So, yeah. So, speaking of that, though,
how are the modules actually?
The first
I hate the majority. I ran Descent into Avernus, and I fucking hate that module. And I've looked at a lot of the other modules, and I hate the modules. I like the adventure path, like the small adventures, because you can usually kind of slide those in. You can retool them a little bit and slide them in, but the modules themselves are just the overall, like, Tyranny of Dragons, although I haven't run that, but like the only good module is the Lost Mine of Phandelver, and even then,
that one is so fun.
Yes, it's good. But even then, you're level 3 and you're fighting Venom Fang, like adult fucking green dragon. I almost killed one of the players. Well, I mean, she went from full hit points to unconscious in one breath weapon because I was like, oh, I just don't want to roll. So just take 42 poison damage. Even if you're level 3. If you're a dwarf at level 3 and you roll good on your saving throw, you're still taking like 10 points of fucking damage. And if you're even at maxing hit points, that's even a barbarian maxing hit points, that's still like a third of your fucking hit points in one. And you had to roll and be like, it's just, that's it. But then the final fight, they cast the bard cast Shatter, and the final fight, there's like that statue with the gem, and she didn't know about the gem, and so she shattered the gem, which then collapsed the ceiling. Yeah. So like that fight was like the surprise round, and then the round after was cleanup because they accidentally fucking dropped the ceiling on everything.
That's amazing.
Which was amazing.
But like what I would say for Pathfinder 2E's modules, or because they call them adventure paths, right? Okay. And they're basically the exact same thing as basically the exact same thing as the D&D modules. They're a guided experience. But the first two that came out, or the first one that came out, was a little bit closer to, I think, not being done by the time the system was fully nailed down. Okay. So that one has a bunch of peaks and valleys, and you're like, are we dying?
It's not as polished.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think the Rise of the Rune Lords was a pretty brutal fucking campaign.
It was edition. And again, it was written before they had that all nailed where they needed it.
Okay.
And you feel it. It's like, oh my god, this is rough. Age of Ashes is the first adventure path that came out with Pathfinder 2nd edition. And it does have some of the like marks of maybe not having been, maybe not having a completed system under its feet. Okay. By the time it was published. That being said, everything that has come out after, everything, and no, I'm not kidding,
okay,
has been goddamn fantastic. Obviously, there's some ones that people are less interested in or not really, you know, like Extinction Curse is fun because like you get to play a circus. And then there's other stuff that goes on after the circus bit, but you get to play a fucking circus. Like,
I know.
Who would have thought about that for the idea for a game? Nobody.
Well, I know in first edition, I was playing in a module or adventure path that, oh fuck, it's something like you're like in charge of a caravan, and like so you get to choose how the caravan levels up, and like it's like little shit like that makes me like, because that's the type of thing in games that like I fucking like I do on my own. Like I mean, I posted a thing about that, having a conversation with one of my. I think on my Twitter, I posted a picture of a conversation with one of my GMs, and I'm having we got transported to Ravnica in a boat or in a ship that isn't ours, which is funny to me because that crew has a ship of their own called the Hindenburg, and we somehow crashed somebody else's ship into another reality, like falling out of the sky.
Yeah,
which was a hell of a fucking challenge. Encounter, like one of those skill challenge counters, which are super cool. But like I essentially am going to start my own like guild because you know I'm a cleric of mask from following the cleric of mask from Fates of the Forgotten Realms book.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I have masks, which is a whole lot of fun to play around with. But so like I'm like, okay, I'm going to start this guild, and then this like you know this is going to be this is what we're doing. We're trying to the fake, well, it's not fake, it is the real, but the secret, you know, objective is the fact that I'm trying to start a Temple of Mask, essentially. And so it's like, that's the type of thing. Or in my friend's game, I'm like, oh, I'm going to design armor, because I'm playing an Artificer, I was like, I'm going to design this kind of, like, wall thing that I can throw down, which creates a temporary, like, wall to get cover behind, or, you know, this armor, or something similar to the book, to one of the invocations that warlocks get, where you, as long as you're not doing anything strenuous during a long rest, you can stay awake during a long rest, and it's counted as still a long rest.
Oh, nice.
Like just shit like that. Like I created my wizard that I played with my brother's game. I created a spell. I put the time into it, so it's nice when there's stuff that encourages it, like this like thing, extinction or whatever, where you're in charge of a circus, or like it's not just. You're just playing a game and you're just doing whatever. Like
yeah, exactly.
So
I would definitely say, and I'm gonna sound super biased here because it's the one I worked on, but I think that exactly with that face too. I think that Strength of Thousands is one of the best ways of modeling, hey, you're going to a fantasy school, out, period. And I know they're gonna try to do like whatever Haven from D&D or whatever.
Oh, I think
Strixhaven I think is gonna be a setting in D&D at some point.
But they already have fucking issues with it. Like
yeah, there's a whole bunch of other drama regarding the representation and stuff that comes from Strixhaven and like
because I follow Asians Represent and I'm in their Discord and you're just like talking about people not learning their fucking lessons. You're like, bros,
what and like doing? But that's why I say
fuck turfs while we're on the subject.
Oh yeah. By the way, fuck turfs.
Yeah.
But to get back to what I'm talking about, what I'm specifically addressing is the fact that it allows the player characters to come in as fully adult students, right? So, because you already have your character class. In fact, you have what's known as a free archetype, and we'll get to archetypes in a minute, but because that's another way that it heads and tails. But you start with a free archetype, which is basically, for the purposes of Strength of Thousands, it has to be a spellcaster, usually either a wizard or a druid. because that's really the type of magic they teach at that particular school, the Magambia. But so you start out. So say I'm playing a fighter, and I was like, okay, I'm going to this magical school. Well, I'm a wizard now too, for free. That's it. I get some wizard stuff, not as much as a normal wizard, but I get some wizard stuff, and off to the races.
So is that because we can tangent into archetypes because I didn't really delve too much into.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. I love them.
Archetypes like Gestalt?
No, they are actually kind of a step back from Gestalt. Okay, put it like this. You know where prestige classes were in like 3.5 and how they were out of goddamn control?
Yes.
This is a much more controlled, you get something cool, but it is not...
Oh, is it more like... Because from what I was looking, it's more like almost like your sub-job in Final Fantasy 11.
Yes, actually. Or, I'm going to say Final Fantasy 14 because, again, I'm that dork. But, yes, it is like almost like a sub-job.
Right, yeah. Because you get some of their abilities, but at a slower rate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you don't get that anymore in 14. My bad. I was thinking way early. Okay, never mind. Apologies. But,
subject matter expert.
Not on 11, unfortunately.
But you fucked up 14. Well, it's funny. See, it's
no, I didn't, bitch. It was like that.
It was, but it isn't. Whatever.
Wow. All right. So, we gonna get the spicy takes. All right, cool.
Well, it's funny.
Listen,
Okay,
you did it to yourself.
The Odyssey. So when I was just side tangent, when I was playing through not Final Fantasy, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That's when he who shall not be named raided my channel and brought along one of my new great friends, Van, who's the Greek guy that's in my Scion game. I'm playing through the game and he's like, oh this, oh that, oh this, and he's like, oh wait, no, I'm wrong about that. And I'm like, aren't you Greek? He's like, yeah, but I did just take away my Greek card. And then he made a joke that he just gets it and then he loses it and he gets it and he loses it. Like it's like he's only a partial citizen of Greece now. Like it's just that type of thing. Even though he's born and raised and only ever lived there, it's just because he fucks up information all the time. But that's what it's like.
They're gonna probably take away my Pathfinder 2e card. It's fun. I'll be alright.
Okay, so that's cool. Archetypes are like 11 sub jobs where you get them.
You get some abilities
in 11 you get to, you level them up to a certain level and then while you're leveling that you only get a certain amount of abilities from.
Exactly.
So that's pretty cool.
And it's super duper fun because it allows you to really hone what you want your character's concept to be. Pretty much from level 2 on, you're locked in. Like you have something cool. Now, obviously, with feats and everything, all the choices you can make, you can drift to doing other stuff, but like you can really nail sort of what you really want by like level 2, which as someone who played a lot of 5e, I was like, wait a minute. You get this by level 2? And the person now who was showing me it for the first time was like, yup. And I was like, okay, dope.
Actually, it's also like looking at archetypes, it's almost kind of like multi-classing in 4th edition as well. Because I
don't know as much about that.
Okay, in 4th edition you didn't go, you only have your one class. So you can't switch classes. But you can take multi-class feats that allow you to get abilities from other classes. Like a certain amount of times. Like for I think Warlock, you could use one of their abilities like once a day as a one a day ability or something like that. Like or like Barbarian, you get a certain thing, or Fighter, you get a certain thing. Like that's so kind of that fits a little bit more in the RPG. Those are dope. So do you pick those? It looks like instead of picking a class feat, you can pick an archetype feat.
Yep.
Okay. And
with free archetypes, which is a rule that tons of people use, you get both. Okay. They just.
So you're getting. Hold on, let's go to a class.
So you're getting a class feat and your archetype feat online at the same time.
So Ancestry. So you get at first level, you get your Ancestry and background and efficiencies, attack opportunity, fighter feat. and then at level 2, so a fighter feat is that's a you would get also an archetype feat, right? Because that's a class feat.
At second level.
So you have to be second level for.
In order for archetypes to come online.
Okay, so at second level you get a fighter feat, so then you get a fighter feat and an archetype feat and a skill feat, and then it's only class feats?
Yes, you can only trade. Well, hold on. Let me make sure.
So at third level you get a general feat.
Yeah, those are different.
Okay.
That's a different thing.
Okay.
But class feats are technically what you would trade for archetypes.
Okay.
Or for archetype feats, unless you're playing with free, which means you just get them. You just choose them and boop, it's on.
That is
bad. It doesn't feel because one of the things they put in the player's guide was the rules for Gestalt, because everybody played it in 1E. Like Gestalt was everywhere.
I don't think I ever played a Gestalt.
And I
don't think I've ever played a Gestalt.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. That's actually surprising. Like, for as much 3.5 as you've played, all right. You are literally the first person I've ever heard who said that they haven't played Gestalt. Who's actively played a lot of 3.5. So, no. I mean, yeah. There's always one subject matter expert. No.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't fucking apply here.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
But
also, I never said I was a subject matter expert.
No, it's fine. God, if I consider myself the subject matter expert on anything, it'll probably be World of Darkness games, and we don't want to go into the amount that I've forgotten about those fucking games.
I mean, that's like I've forgotten more than you've ever learned type of thing. Which
and I don't mean it to sound like
the thing that I'm the subject matter expert of.
I don't mean it to sound like that, but it's definitely one of those things that, like, I was playing White Wolf games back on AOL, so that should tell you where I'm at.
Ratboy at AOL.com. Yeah.
Just fucking Matt Damon aging GIF, just right over
right. I was playing Neopets. Okay.
Oh God.
And EverQuest.
Why would you even bring that up? Oh God. Anyway, back to Pathfinder. God damn it.
Because you're not the only old person here.
I know, right? The cool thing about the way a lot of Pathfinders put together, and I'm gonna bring this up, and it's gonna be my spicy take. Okay, you ready?
I don't have any milk, but go ahead.
Okay. The actual like creature levels, they work, and they're exactly. It actually makes sense. They actually all make sense,
so
and unfortunately, the fucking CRs for 5e
are so bullshit.
Oh my God. Okay, I know what they were going for, and I appreciate what they were going for, but it is very, very hard for me as a GM. So say I'm going to make a custom monster. You know, you guys are playing through my dungeon, and I'm like, I don't like any of the monsters from the book. I'm just going to make something custom.
Yeah, because there's a snail in the next room, and Kalvin has a phobia of snails, so let's not put a snail in there.
I wouldn't do a phobia. I use consent guides.
I actually, while running Avernus, it was weird how there was this fluke salt storm that flew through this specific area of a dungeon, killing everything in there. It's weird, because they were just like these like slugs with like skeletons on them or something like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, nope, Dad. You guys like they never got to them, but I was like, you guys don't have to worry about it. You're not fighting those things.
Yeah, exactly.
These rooms are perfectly clear. No monsters. You're good.
But like the CR, like the creature levels, because they don't quite use CR in the same way, but like the creature levels, they mean something. And if you try to put your characters against something that is too many levels lower than them, they're going to cakewalk it. Like, they're going to be critically hitting everything, right? And we'll talk about critical hits in a minute. But if you put them against something too high, they may not be able to hit it. Like, you have to... Those numbers matter, and the math, again, is tight. So you have to be like, okay, what level is my party? My party is level 6. So I need to look up maybe 1 or 2 6-level monsters, and then maybe pad out the fight with some like level 4 monsters, and then that's it. Like, that's your line. Because if you try to be like, well, fucking adult green dragon out of nowhere, you will just kill your party. Because the math on an adult green dragon versus a party at like, I think, what did you say is level 3?
3.
When they get to there? Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's annihilation. You just die.
Yeah, it has a 17 armor class. It's supposed to run away at half hit points, but why would it? Like, it's
yeah.
That's like I said, that's my only issue with that module.
No, I mean the rest of fucking Lost Mines of Phandelver is fun as hell. I played it through with some friends and we had a great time. But
especially when you accidentally clear the entirety of the mansion's basement, you're like, oh shit, did we? Oops! Like just because you just go one fight to the next and you're just like rolling good, you're just like, we just killed everybody. Whoopsie daisy! Like
I'm gonna bring up one thing from 5e and then I'm gonna go back because I'm gonna talk about my old Lost Mines game. One of my friends was playing a wizard, an Abjurer wizard, which they're so good, but it doesn't matter. We were sneaking into the dungeon because there's like a keep, like a broken down keep that the goblins are in Lost Mines. I guess spoiler.
They're not goblins in.
Are they not goblins?
No, it's like the bandits, like the red bandits or something like that. There is the first thing you fight is there's goblins in like a cave with a waterfall type of thing.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Okay. But there was this keep that all of these things were in, and my friend had the knock spell. And I don't know if you remember how knock works.
300 feet, like it's a loud knocking noise when it's.
Yeah, and it popped open the door.
And everything heard it.
Every monster in the goddamn place heard it and came running at us. And then my friend cast Shatter. And killed almost everything, and then we just funneled everything that was left into one room after like barricading the door and murdered everything in the dungeon within one game session because it was ridiculous. But you can in fact do similar shit in Pathfinder 2e. It just requires a tiny bit more like, okay, well, what do you want to do? I want to do this. All right, here's what you have. Can you do that with that? Yes. Dope. Go for it. And it feels so good the way like all of the different pieces interlock. But the fact that like things like monster level matter is I, as an encounter designer, know exactly how far I can push. Before I get into that severe and extreme encounter range, that's like, okay, this is a bit much.
Right.
It gives me so much freedom because like it seems constrained, like, oh, you can only use these types of monsters, but it's not. You can use like a monster at level, and then a ton of monsters at lower level, and just have your players goddamn scythe through them like death machines. Because why wouldn't you?
Right.
Like if you're trying to make the characters feel cool, you can have a few throwaway bait monsters whose entire job is just fill up the initiative track before getting splattered across the room in like 2 hits. It's fine. And it's just, it gives me as the GM a feeling of freedom, and I'm not scared that the monster I put in for my goddamn CR3 party is going to murder my CR3 party.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that feels goddamn great. One of the other things that I would definitely say, besides archetypes, which are just, again, like chef's kiss, they are so goddamn good. Like the ancestries as we're getting them are filling out the world, and they're written by such diverse and interesting people,
right,
that there is very little trope, if that makes sense. Like, you know, you don't have the people from you don't have the people from like Tianxia, which is one of the realms of, you know, Galarian, which is the main world of Pathfinder. You don't have them feeling like bad stereotypes. They're fun, they're engaging, they're different. And you can build an entire story around like, well, yeah, my character's from Tian Sha, but they're just like, they've lived in, you know, this other place for their whole lives, so they have this and this because they've lived there their whole lives. But if you want to play someone who's like, no, I'm from Tian Sha, I've lived in Tian Sha my whole life, and I want to reflect that in my character, it's perfect. It's perfect, and it's so easy to do. And then when you jump into archetypes, you could choose like, you know what, I want my fighter to also be a martial artist, or I want my bard to be a marshal, which is like, do you remember the 4E class? I think it was
Warlord. Fuck yeah, of course.
Warlord.
That was my.
They basically do that.
It's my favorite 4th edition class.
Oh god, it's so good. And I really hope, and it's never going to happen in an official publication because, you know, lawyers, but I really hope somebody remakes something similar like that on like Paizo Infinite or whatever, or Pathfinder Infinite, because the Warlord was fucking good. Yeah. It was really fun, and it made the game feel really good because they helped you every step of the way. It felt cohesive. It felt like a unit.
I think, considering who I am as a person, I think that probably my favorite class in 4th edition, especially because I don't necessarily. I enjoy. I mean, we discussed our Echo Knights, and like, I am more than happy to just run in there and wreck house, and can make a character and make a character that can wreck house. But I'm also have no issue. I'm playing the other character I'm playing is an artificer, and I've like done my infusion for the rogues like bow, so they have like the infinite ammo bow, and I did like so like it's I love being I don't mind being a support character as long as I feel useful. It's I'm a support character. I'm just like, go team, and I'm just sitting there doing nothing. Like the Warlord was great because instead of spending my character had, I think, like a 14 strength and a 12. Actually, I had an 8 dex and like a 14 strength or 12 strength or something. Like I did not design it to fight. I decided to help other people fight. So we had like a Goliath fighter or something, and I was like on its turn, they swung, and I was like, good job, do it again. Like, do it one more again. Like, and it's just one of those things. Like, and so it's like it's so much fun because then I still get to move, and I still get to be the RTS, like tactical movement. The chess, I'm playing chess. Everybody else is playing checkers or whatever. Like, not that I'm superior in any way, but like they're playing 2D, I'm playing 3D, like type of thing. Like which I as a tactical person I fucking love because I love tactical movement and it's just so much fun. So anyway, back to Pathfinder.
No, you're good. You're good because ultimately what this is talking about are things that I find immediately useful in terms of my Pathfinder 2E characters. The ability to, you know, set the flank, the ability to, you know, move around and do certain cool stuff. Things like attack of opportunity have been not removed because, believe me, it's still there, but have been pulled back a little bit so you get a lot of motion, a lot of ability to set up flanks and stabbing, and, you know, a lot of that's there. So it feels, at least to me, like a very complete experience so far, and they're still not even done. They're still not even done with classes. We got 2 more classes coming, and we're probably gonna have some more after that. Like,
what other classes are there? Because I have the core book. And that's the only thing I've looked at right now.
So you have the core book, and I think that's how many classes?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay, so then hold on. Yeah, so if there's 12 in the core book, then you have 4 from the Advanced Player's Guide, the Witch, the Investigator, Hold on. Let's see if I remember them off the top of my head. The Oracle.
Oracle.
One more. Swashbuckler. Nailed it.
Have you seen the 5th edition witch?
No.
I have the book. It's cool. Actually, yeah. I like it better than the wizard, I think, because it actually feels like a way better class.
If I'm playing a spellcaster, real talk, if I'm playing a spellcaster in 5e, and it's not the Abjuration Wizard because I don't feel like being broken all over your game, I'm going Warlock.
I hate Warlocks.
Like,
I fucking hate
Warlocks. I'm gonna go Celestial Warlock so I can be a healer and like. I am the kindest soul. Right before I Eldritch Blast something's goddamn face off.
Are really good. That's one of the things I bring up a couple times in my videos is wizards are the only primary arcane class in 5th edition that don't get healing.
Yeah.
Every other class, artificers, clerics, paladins, rangers, druids, warlocks, and sorcerers, I don't think I'm missing any, all get healing.
Yeah.
As some just they have to go into a subclass, but there's no wizard subclass where they get a healing spell, which is kind of bullshit because they're supposed to be masters of magic, and that's what they fucking do. But they can't heal. Like I can alter reality, but I can't mend a wound. Like, yeah. Anyway.
No, but that's funny enough. Insofar as the magic system is concerned, I mean, you reach the same point with a wizard of them having like a ton of spells, but none of them are really heal spells. But you can just archetype into cleric at 2nd level, take a few cleric feats. Done. Like, oh cool, I'm gonna have some cleric spells. I get heal as a, but I'm gonna choose heal and I'm gonna choose this, whatever the other spell is, and now I'm a wizard who can heal.
Right.
No, you're not the strongest possible healer.
Without having to dip one level into another class.
That is another thing you were talking about it in 4th edition. In Pathfinder 2e, you do not change classes. Like, you are on your class from level 1 to level 20, which means you will always get whatever your level 20 capstone is. There's no dipping levels. You are,
which has its negatives and its positives, because it's always fun to have be like an assassin warlock.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
In 5th edition, but then then there's you get like really cool abilities in 4th edition because so I also really like this isn't talking about 4th edition.
No, but unfortunately these games don't exist in a vacuum.
No, I know.
And so we connect with all of our experiences.
I think there's definitely it's one of those like, no, you can't switch classes. You are only ever a fighter. However, like it's very, it's more of a no but.
Yep, exactly.
Type of thing. It's like, no, but you can take class feats or archetype feats so that you can get abilities from other classes. When every time you would get a class feat, or like, oh, okay, that's that's fine, because then like you said, I want to be a wizard who can heal. At what level do wizards get their wizard feat? Is it, dude? Does everybody get a class feat every 2nd level?
Every 2 levels.
So yeah, at level 2, you're like, what? Instead of getting whatever the low level fucking wizard feat is,
yeah, you could just be like,
I'm gonna take the cleric archetype, one of the cleric archetype abilities.
Yeah. Or there's like one there's basically a bunch of them that can give you healing.
Or oh my god, sorry, now my brain is thinking of that. I have the picture somewhere because I had a wizard, because my brother did a game where we rolled our stats in order, and then we kept that was
straight
like old school.
Those are
so I got after
yikes.
Well, I rolled well. After and everybody had to roll their own, so it's not like, all right, like everybody rolls and you can pick the best. Everybody can pick what the best person got, which is what we've done in other games. But the point of this was it's supposed to be kind of harder. I got after racial modifiers, I had an 18 strength, 20 dexterity, like a 14 con, a 15 intelligence. I don't remember what my wisdom and charisma were. The thing was, I went, because I was a half drow. I went I was going Bladesinger.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I have a 20 dexterity and an 18 strength as a blade singer, and a 15 intelligence as a blade singer. So I'm just like, so it's that whole thing, like, oh, that was my last spell. Time to do this old school. And it's the wizard who like rips off their thing and they're fucking jacked. Like that's what I'm picturing. It's like somebody's like, oh, let's go kick that fucking fro wizard's ass, and it was just like, no, don't. Like it's the oh, somebody call an ambulance, but not for me, motherfuckers. Like type of thing. Like you fucked around, you found out. Like so, yeah. No, that's a really cool. Okay, so those 4 classes, and was that it? Is that it for total classes? Or you said besides what they're supposed to?
Oh no, okay. So
the 4 in the advanced.
I'm going to go on to my favorite site for talking about Pathfinder.
The Nexus or
Archives of Nethys, my friend
introduced me to that.
Yeah, which is a free site where if you want to learn how to fucking play Pathfinder, I probably wouldn't send you here to learn how to play.
Right.
But if you would just like, all right, I kind of already know how to play, I just want to pick my options, Archives of Nethys. To go. Just it'll save you so much time. But I'd rather than digging through books.
The OGC.
Yes, it is based on it's based on the OGL, and because they have to put OGL stuff online.
Well, no, the Pathfinder was it? I think it was OGC.
Oh, I don't remember.
There's the website. I probably have it somewhere. The one where you can go on like for first edition where you can just go to the website and like look up all of the information, like all of the feats and all of the classes and.
Oh, okay. It might have been one of the unofficial ones. Not that matters because again, the OGL information is open, so everybody can get it, and everybody can post it to their websites and do stuff. Archives of Nethys is official. Like it's, insofar as anything can be official, it's the one that like Paizo specifically works with.
My friend was saying that he's kind of that the Nexus is supposed to be fucking baller because it's still third party. They're still working more closely with Paizo, so they're like, you buy the book on Paizo, you get it on the Nexus.
You get it at a discount.
Still better than what Wizards does.
Not disagreeing. It is very much D&D Beyond, but for Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with if people enjoy. I'm not a big fan of walled gardens, and that has the feeling of a walled garden to me. But I will be proven wrong. Like somebody's gonna show me it when it comes out, and I'm gonna be like, well, goddamn.
Right.
But so all right. The ones from the main book. Yeah, there's 12 of those. And then there's the investigator. Then there's the 4 from the Advanced Player's Guide. Then you have the ones from Secrets of Magic, which is the Magus and the Summoner.
Nice.
Then you have the ones from Guns and Gears, which just came out, which is the Gunslinger and the Inventor. Yeah.
Inventor.
Yeah, the Inventor doesn't play exactly like an artificer. They don't really use magic. Think of them more like a mad scientist who does things like straps rockets to their hammer.
Oh.
And just...
Well, they didn't necessarily have to be like the artificer, but that's...
Put it like this.
I'll look at it.
Oh, yeah. It's... Put it like this. The reason I like the reason why I really like the Inventor is because the Inventor can do things like, oh, I'm fighting this thing. I'm going to put myself and my inventions into overdrive. Well, what does that mean? They're all stronger, including this weapon I made. Wait, what? Yeah, I'm going to go clean that thing's goddamn clock because they are, in fact, frontliners, unlike artificers who, if they take too many hits, they explode.
Depends on which artificer you're doing.
But that's what I'm saying is that, but...
Well, I don't know. Artificers, I don't want to get into it.
I don't remember how...
They do have D8 hit points, so they're not quite fighters or barbarians, but they're just as good as you know...
Are they frontline, though? I didn't think they were frontline.
Yeah, they can be.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, then there's the battles. The Battlesmith's my favorite, especially because it's like, look, I have a Steel Defender. So now I have this ally that is just fucking nasty. I haven't gotten my Steel Defender in my friend's game
I'm a big old dog, yeah.
I'm a bear. I'm a fucking bear.
Yeah. Whereas the Inventor, you can choose to like sort of spec into having like a little friend, and then that little friend can do things like go up to the enemy and explode. It's like a clock. It's more of like a clockwork / steampunk character than like an artificer would be.
My brain is thinking of the magic card that's like mana gnomes or whatever, where you sacrifice them
and
gain
like
mana, but they just like they deal damage.
If I were gonna use some magic nonsense, I would say that the Inventor is a little bit closer to Urza, where it's just like, I'm gonna do some goofy science nonsense. And you're just like, wait, what do you mean? Oh, I'm gonna equip my entire army with rocket skates. Like, I'm sorry, what? And you can just do that.
Well, what part of rocket skates is confusing to you? The rocket part!
Exactly. And
what the fuck?
Can you imagine like your whole party like flying through a dungeon on rollerblades or whatever? You can do that with the Inventor.
I learned recently that Rollerblade is the company that makes one of the companies that make inline skates.
Oh, so inline skates are the official name.
Yeah, so Rollerblade is the company, much like Post-it notes are the specific 3M brand name of it, or or Elmer's glue is glue. Like it's the
marketing, man.
No, marketing. I know. I'm not exactly like that's why
powerful shit.
Right. I actually own a pair of rollerblades, like rollerblades, inline skates.
Oh my god. The fact that we have to make that distinction is
good old rollerblade.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so right now, because how many classes are there? Holy shit, I didn't even think about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 classes right now with 2 more coming.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
I'd say that's the...
Lots of choice.
Yeah, which is nice.
Lots of choice.
That's one of the negatives is like eventually you hit a wall with classes, even if if you're playing a whole bunch, like you're gonna be like, all right, even with official classes, I think there's only 13 technically official classes, 14 if you count Blood Hunter, because that is in a book. Like, Witch is not official, but I don't give a shit. Like, we're actually going to do a video, because we're going through all the classes, we're going to do a video on witches, because I love witches. And I think it's Evie something or whatever, the person who made it, like, it's such a good class. Like I said, I'll send you a copy of it. Because it is just such a fun
You mean you want to... Well, is it something I could buy?
Yeah, I also have to... I mean, I do have 2 copies of it.
Oh, okay. No, we're rocking. All right. Only because I don't want to get you dinged for being like, I'll send you a copy.
I mean,
you know how how YouTube is.
Well, I do own like the unofficial, like, because she sent out like the promo version, like the first the alpha version of it was like, this is what we got, and like there's gonna be polish, and stuff's gonna be balanced better, but this is what. So there is the official version, which I have a copy of, and I have 2 physical copies of. On accident. Well, because I got the hardcover, but she sent me the soft cover, and she's like, "Oh God, I'm so sorry." Like, I was like, "It's fine." I was like, she gave me like a code, and I was able to get the hardcover for like cheaper. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about getting 2, getting one of each anyway. So, so I'm supporting like what's her name, the woman. I think they're identified as female. I could be wrong on that. The wheelchair.
Sarah.
Yeah. I usually
go by, I'm trying to remember her handle on Twitter.
Yeah, I usually go by people's but she put out some stuff for Pathfinder 2e.
Oh yeah. It came out in the Guns and Gears book.
Did it? Oh shit.
Some of it, cool. And then some of it was in the Lost Omens Grand Bazaar book. And
I'm going to be sad that I'm not getting to play this game. We're going to talk about this game, and I'm going to be mad that I don't get to fucking play it.
Why don't you get to play it?
Because who am I going to play it with?
You have plenty of people you could be like, Hey, we're switching to Pathfinder, bitches. Let's go.
Well, I'm running a Scion game.
Yeah.
So that can't switch.
Yes, it can. You could just be like, okay, we're gods now. Okay, good. GG. Now we're playing Pathfinder.
I think they would be mad at me because
probably
they love their characters and they're having fun. I also don't want to run a game. I want to play a game.
No, and that's fair too.
Anyway, we're just gonna. We're already over an hour.
Shit! Yeah, we are.
we're almost done.
Do we want to start wrapping up?
What is there anything else that you kind of wanted to?
Nah. That's mostly the basics.
So biggest differences from. Well, why don't we just do a
quick recap?
Yeah, biggest differences from
reaction economy,
first edition to second edition.
Yeah, reaction economy. Criticals.
The classes are
classes.
Well, the classes are the same, but how their abilities are now feats. There's no millions of subclasses.
Yep. Prestige classes are not a thing. The critical hits are 10 over AC and natural 20s. Yeah, so if you have an AC of 15 and I roll a 25.
Okay, that's cool. Because we actually totally forgot to do critical hits. So.
Yeah. And then the way ancestries are just so much better than like races and
that's putting it to a region, not a biological.
Exactly. So those I would say are sort of the ones that stand out to me the most.
And archetypes.
We got archetypes, yeah. We got sort of distracted, so there's a bunch of stuff. I should have probably written this down.
Yeah.
As we were talking about it. But one of the cool things, I just think all of that adds up to being a very different feel, a very different experience than Pathfinder 1E or D&D 5E. It feels so different. And that's not to say it's better. I'm not doing that. I don't do, I don't do like a war, edition wars. It just feels really good. And the first time you like crit someone without rolling a natural 20 and you just hit that armor class just the right way. Oh, it feels amazing.
Like scissors.
Oh, yeah.
Perfectly inline
straight
skating on newly paved roads.
All right, and with that, I think we can call this to a close.
But from what I played in 5th edition versus having not played Pathfinder 2E, it seems like they've taken out the stereotypes, the racial stereotypes, which is great. The classes are a bit more bulky,
chunky.
Like, because it's a lot. 5th edition is very streamlined. It's very simple in its.
Which isn't bad, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you make meaningful choices.
Right.
You make one really meaningful choice at 3rd level, and then everything else is sort of dictated.
First, respective to your class, there you make one meaningful.
Yeah. Apologies. Yeah, respective to your class.
Yeah, because clerics get it at 1, and so do warlocks.
Yeah. Whereas with Pathfinder, like you're always getting something.
Right.
Every level you're getting some choice.
You're like
Exactly.
Or you're like the the grid sphere. In Final Fantasy X.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, we're going this way. Now you're like, I want to go back to going this way. Oh, but then we're going to go over this way, and then, or Path of Exile, I guess, is another one that kind of.
I don't play that game. I've never been able to get into it. Anyway.
But yeah, so it's much. Choices matter more.
Exactly.
Because and the fact that you can't multi-class, that's a big thing, but you're not hampered because of it.
Yep.
You can still do other things by taking archetype feats. Spells are similar. Cantrips. Yep. I mean, 5th edition stole cantrips from Pathfinder.
Yeah, I thought...
Which is a good thing, though. I fucking love the fact... Because, I mean, you know how many times you're, like, in 3rd edition, like, I use this spell, and the wizard's like, cool, I spent 2 decades, or you're a fucking elven wizard. You're like, I'm 700 years old. Pew pew, I'm done. I can't do anything for the rest of the day. 700 years wasted. Like, what the fuck are you doing with those 700 years?
Yeah.
Thinking about elves.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Trancing. They're big into trance music. What is he doing? He's trancing. It's fine. But, I mean, there's probably other things that we missed. But
it's cool.
That's cool. That's cool as shit.
Yeah, it's a lot of really fun stuff. And I just hope more people play it. I hope more people try it out. Not for any sort of like, it's so much better than 5e. I mean, give a shit about that.
I think there's a difference between liking it more and thinking that it's superior. I don't think
exactly. You're 100% right.
Because I mean, I would love to. I mean, I would love to play fucking even 1st edition Pathfinder because I loved it. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, just being able to play it. Like, there's everybody's running D&D. Like, I don't think that, you know, I mean, I think 4th edition is probably my favorite edition of D&D. So I think that is better, but people have issues with it. I just like it more because I'm a tactical person.
Yeah.
So, you know,
and it gives you that feel.
So it's just different things hit different ways for different people.
Mm-hmm.
Different.
And 5e is one of those. 5e to me. I'm sorry. Pathfinder 2e to me is one of those games that makes me feel just powerful as hell when I play it.
Right.
Like, I feel like a baller every time I play it.
Because I mean, that's the thing. That's you're a level. I mean, if it's something with, you know, 15 hit points and you're level 20 fighter, you swing it at once, you roll low, you're like, cool, that goblin survived somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I did like 10 damage and you're still like, I literally just fought a god, and I went and you're still like, that hurt a lot, but I'm still standing. You're like, this is bullshit. Like, but I mean, it's its own thing. It went in its own direction. I mean, it's a fucking freight train. So, but yeah, so we'll end this before it gets to an hour and a half.
Yeah, before it starts getting too long.
It's already. I figured it was going to be too long, regardless.
You doomed yourself to a whole goddamn to a whole lot of editing. Good luck.
Bold of you to assume I edit. I'm literally cutting out like the first 10 seconds, and then that's it.
Okay.
Because as I stated to people, it is a discussion.
Yeah, that's
We're having a discussion where it's a lot more fun. I've watched the videos, I think the Barbarian video, and it's a lot more fun to just the discussion back and forth versus
to just riff.
Yeah, whereas I'm watching like Dungeon Dudes or whatever, and they're like, it feels very scripted, and I'm like,
gotcha.
You know, I'm like, or DM Layer, where it feels very kind of like, meh. I'm like, you want to hear people discussing stuff. It's like a podcast almost, like people discussing stuff, and it's a lot more fun.
I got you. Okay. So we cool.
Anyway, so the hope is to, when Shan has time, we'll do more. We'll kind of hammer out things and get that stuff done. But hopefully this was helpful to whomever you are. Understanding the difference between 1st and 2nd Pathfinder and 5th and 2nd Pathfinder, or 5th edition and 2nd edition Pathfinder.
I'm like, wait, there have been 5 editions of Pathfinder?
I have to nebulize him now. No, I don't time travel. I have a rule against it. I went 30 years into the future. 5th edition Pathfinder. It's actually just like those virtual reality, like the augmented reality games.
Wait, do we play it on
New World
Mark Zuckerberg's? Do we play it on Mark Zuckerberg's internet?
Maybe.
Is that? Yeah. Oh no! I quit.
Well, you have to buy the Disney patented helmet.
Oh.
And it has the Mickey Mouse ears because that's how they get the signal.
Okay, I gotta get out of here.
Sword Art Online. There we go. That's the thing I was trying to think of. Well, I'm just gonna do the goodbye real quick and then end it.
I'm just messing around.
I gotta fucking. I get no respect. So anyway, I'm Kalvin.
I am Shan.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And now you get to listen to the outro song. And that's the outro song. Yeah.